morning. Welcome to our place. It's lovely to see you. Hello, Vanessa Baxter.
Good morning.
We have two girls with pinnies.
Yes, I've got
Absol's
pinny
got
on.
the sleeves rolled up.
Yes, I have. I've got a lot to do
She
today.
is good to go. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's lovely to have you here. What are you cooking for us
fantastic
today?
To be here. I am cooking a braised beef dish, which has got a hint of Vietnam.
As always.
As always.
Yep.
However, a really good, solid winter hearty stew.
Smelling good already.
Yum.
It's because she's been for the last 10 minutes having an arm workout with a pestle and mortar.
I'm sorry, but I might have broken the food processor.
Oh, no, we're by hand this morning.
That's fine. We're by
Talk
hand.
about that
Very
soon.
organic.
What you crafting up, girls?
We are doing some vaporising discs that you make and put in the bottom of the shower. Very good for stuffed noses.
Oh, good time of year to be doing that.
Very easy.
Colds everywhere, eh? Awesome. Also joining us today, she is American late night television's favourite new sweetheart. We catch up with comedian Beth Stelling. She's awesomeness. We love her. Modern Māori crooner Rob Ruha is stepping up to the mic with tracks from his upcoming debut album. That's sounding good already. Keen to take baby out and about? Well, Charlene Poole shares her tips on achieving a balance of play so there's enough snooze time, and you and the family could be off on a fun-filled getaway thanks to Adrift Outdoors. Details on that little prize, actually it's not that little, will be revealed very soon though. Cool, all right, we're into it. We're in the kitchen.
Right, have you
Vanessa's
beaten that?
Have you done
Have
that
you
enough?
done that
What's
beating?
the sort of required consistency?
Well, if you're using a pestle and mortar, it's going to be a little bit more chunky than if you were doing in a food processor, and either is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, every kitchen nowadays tends to have some form of a food processor. And
What's in there?
what is in there is a couple of shallots, so the Asian-style red shallot, some ginger, garlic, a little bit of chilli, and I just used a long red chilli, so it's not too spicy. You just want the fragrance, but you don't want it to be super spicy. And lemongrass.
Oh,
Smells lovely.
Yes. Now, the lemongrass I bought, I couldn't find any fresh yesterday just because I was in a shop that didn't have any fresh. But I bought it frozen, and I think it's really important to let people know, because lemongrass is one of those things that sometimes you can find, sometimes you can't, that it's possible to just throw it into the freezer.
Like ginger.
Yeah, and it will change colour. Don't be worried about that, and it will soften up. But, I mean, you're going to cook with it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way to store it. So also, if you are in an Asian shop, you know, take time to have a little look in their freezer section, because you will find packets of it frozen, and it's great to be able to just throw it in.
So is this like your base?
This is the base of the stew. So, look, it is just a really good, solid winter stew.
Get out the road.
Yeah.
Would you do, like, bigger amounts of that and freeze it just like that? So
Yes.
if you were...
So that would be the way forward.
Yeah.
Yep, put it into a Ziploc bag and freeze it, and then just pull it out when you want to get started. It makes a, you know, an easy midweek meal, and you're not standing there pummeling.
Do you want some heat on that? It's only on 2.
Yep, no, that's okay. I just wanted
okay.
to get it, so you don't want to really overcook it, you just want to get those aromas coming. So I just had the pan on 2 to get it warm as I popped it in, and then that will just start to bubble a little bit. We just want fragrance, so maybe a minute. And then we've got topside meat here. There's 2 cuts that you could probably get away with for a stew. The top side will hold its texture a little bit better even over the slow cooking. So when you bite into the stew later, you will get some texture in there, and you will actually sort of have a slight chew to the entire stew. If you used like a cross cut, it would break down more.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It goes
it's
quite
up to you.
thickish,
It depends
doesn't it?
what you prefer.
What do you like?
I like this because it just has some body in it. However, to go with noodles, you could definitely use a cross cut and have it more, like a
Falling
rich
apart.
falling apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a good cheap cut of meat generally too, isn't it?
It's a really good, this is such a cheap dish. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got a simple cut of beef, we've got some carrots and potatoes to pop in the end.
Oh, that smells delicious.
Some salt, a few spices and herbs that are available in any supermarket. And, you know, make a stack of it. If you've got a big pot, make a lot, freeze it off, or as you said, at least get this frozen to start with. And
I think that's a
such an
good
easy
idea.
meal.
That's what I'm going to do.
You
So
good
that
girl.
it's done, ready to go.
And is it one of those things that often it's better the next day?
It's really much better the next day, and if you cook it, you know, later from frozen, it will be as well. Now we can smell that already.
Yeah,
There's a
I can
lovely
smell it. It's
aroma. So now we're going to get this heat up nice and high and brown off our meat. So, Asta, I might get you to do that.
Do you want me to do that? I could do that. I think that would be a very good job for me.
So, again, just, you know, a few minutes to get it really nice and brown. You can go for as long as sort of 8 minutes if you need to, but if you get it onto a high heat and cook it quickly, then you won't have it stewing.
And don't stir it around because it gets all you know how it gets all sort of like stewy. Don't want it stewy.
Don't touch it. Stewy.
Okay.
And then after Asta's got the meat nice and brown, we're just going to add a tin of tomatoes, probably about 750 mils of water, and that's what will be cooked off, and over an hour and a half. However, if you cook it on the stove top, you'll cook it at a simmer for about an hour and a half. Or you can pop it in the oven and do the same.
On a low heat? On
a low heat. Or, of course, you can pop it in a slow cooker in the morning and let it go all day. The other option is that you could use a pressure cooker if you're in a hurry, and it will all be done in 30 minutes.
So many options.
I've got a question.
Yes.
You know when you do the slow cooker, because I have never done slow cooking before, and those things. Yeah. Do you have to brown your paste before you start?
Yes, you need to still do the same. So you'd need to get it browned and do your meat like that, and then just pile it all into the slow cooker with the tomato and the water. Doesn't that smell amazing already?
It does. You know what though? My hubby's quite into the slow cooker, and he actually doesn't, and it does turn out fine. If you were really pushed for time, didn't have time to do that,
just pop
it can work.
It can work.
You're all good, Asta.
I mean, the thing with the browning of the meat is really for sight. Now, this is a really important spice that we use in Vietnamese cooking. It comes originally from China. It's star anise. I have discovered that some people don't actually know about star anise, and it's got that gorgeous licorice smell and aroma to it. So that's actually going to go in with the tomato and the water to just give a subtle flavour to the end.
You've got to make sure you fish them out at the end.
You can fish them out, or you can eat them.
They soften up because they're quite a bit like.
Why would you bother? I call those surprises.
The other option, Jeanette, is you just take the stars apart and use small bits and put it in. It's going to braise for a couple of hours, so it will break down. I like it. Some people hate it. Yeah. So put it in whole, or you could even put it in just in a little clean chucks cloth and tie it off and put it in there for the fragrance, and then just take that out.
Garni, whatever it is. Yes.
And that goes beautifully with cinnamon. So I've got some ground cinnamon that would also go in. So shall we just sort of pile it all in there? So we're going to do tomatoes and some water.
Now
star anise.
Have you done more kind of cooking than ever since, you know, post MasterChef?
I have done so much cooking, and of course in Vietnam I ate a lot, but I didn't necessarily cook Vietnamese. And then because I'm here, that's, you know, I sort of miss those flavours. So I've really sort of started to teach myself a lot more about Vietnamese cuisine and all cuisines. Oh, it went off. Maybe we got it a little bit wet. But never mind, because look what we have. The one I cooked earlier, because we don't have 2 hours on Good Morning to cook, do we? So I've actually just cooked some rice noodles here, which are the pho noodles from Vietnam. You could also serve it with baguette, which is what they actually do in Vietnam for breakfast, of course.
I love the baguettes, aren't they beautiful?
There's our star anise we'll take out, Jeanette, so you don't have to chew on it, or someone doesn't have to chew on it. And the other option, of course, would be rice.
Yep.
And I'm just going to pile this.
You're back on board, Asta.
With some lovely fresh herbs on top.
Oh, yes, that does look like Vietnam.
And some crunchy deep-fried shallots.
Look at that.
And what about my vegetables in here?
And you've got some gorgeous hearty beef stew there, which would make a gorgeous Sunday lunch or weeknight dinner.
You are a done deal.
Well done.
Well done, my friend. Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Cool.
Too.
Simon Holster's in tomorrow with a sausage and potato bake from his new... He's got a new book.
No.
Simon's got a new book.
Simon,
called Comfort Food.
Boy.
I knew it.
Some people
it's been
have
a couple
way
of weeks.
too much time.
He's unreal.
Amazing.
Awesome. Coming up, Asta's clearing us right up with some eucalyptus and peppermint vaporising discs even.
Discs.
We'll see you back very soon.